Welcome to our online lesson review. Today we're going to be talking about computer network and what are we looking out for in this particular class. At the end of this class, pupils should be able to explain the computer network system. We should also be able to mention the different types of networking system, and then we should also learn about the internet and how to use the internet effectively for our day-to-day activity. So if we would go further in the class, the first thing we will talk about is what is computer network system. A computer network is a group of computers connected to each other electronically. This means that this computer system can talk to each other. It means that this computer system can share files. This computer system can share folders. This computer system can share printers. This means that every computer system on the network can send information to each other. Now, look at this image. You can see that we have the atlas here, or the globe here, and you have this computer, this computer, this computer, this computer, this computer, and these other computers here. All these computer systems are connected to this globe here, and they are all connected to a base system here. Now, the reason we have connected all these computer systems is because we want this computer system to communicate, to share files. Now, what do I mean? Let me use this illustration for you. Look at this classroom settings. There's a teacher in front of the children, and you can see all the children raising their hands up. This is because there is a connection, there's a network system in this class. And in this class, their teacher is like the server. Their teacher is the one that all the children are directly connected to. So the teacher is the one giving the children information. All the children are passing information to the teacher, and then the teacher is responding to the children. In this kind of network system, if you as a child, for instance, if you find yourself in this class, you are not allowed to speak to each other because it will be counted as distracting each other or distracting the teacher. So for a settings like this, you should only ask the teacher a question directly, or the teacher talk to you directly, or the teacher talks to everybody at the same time. Usually in this kind of setting, you are not allowed to talk to each other, because when you do this, it might be distracting. Now, this is a form of networking, but it is not the way this computer system, network system works. Now, look at this other image here. Now, we have this child. We have different children right now, but this is no longer a classroom setting. They are all in a different location. This child is in a different location with his computer. This person is in a different location with his computer. This person is in a different location. They all are in different locations, but you can see that they are all connected to each other. You might be wondering, why do we need the computer system to be connected? The reason is, if you have many computers in a particular organization or in a school or in a company, there is tendencies that the senior staff will want to share files, folders with the junior staff. Or in a school setting, you might have a software or a document on your computer that you want to share with your friends, and using a flash drive is not the best option when your school is trying to avoid transmission of viruses and some other malwares. So your school can say, okay, we don't want students or pupils using flash drive in our school. In such a situation, the network system can still allow you to share information without having to transfer, flash from one system to another. Another thing is, for a school organization, they won't usually buy printer in all the classrooms or put printers in all the offices, or in a bank, for instance. They would not want to buy printer for every of the staff of the bank, because it doesn't make sense when you can connect the computer system together And when you do that, it will now be easier for this man here to send his or her document from the computer to the printer directly, and the printer will print it out. And this other man also can also send information from this computer to the printer. Another person can send information from wherever they are to the printer, and the printer will recognize all the computer systems because they have all been connected together. Or for instance, your ICT teacher wants to use a particular file or a software to teach all the children learning ICT. The teacher would want to copy the file on one computer and then share it among the other computers so that all the children can have access to it. These are some of the reasons why we use network systems, so that we can share files and then we can also share printer. Now, there are different types of network system. One good example of a network system is local area network. We call it LAN. Local area network is a relatively small network system that is used in smaller organizations, probably for a building or just like your school. If your school uses a network system, then your school will probably be using a local area network. Even banks too, they'll probably be using a local area network, because this is a network system that small organizations use in order for them to be able to communicate accurately or communicate effectively within each other. If you look at this picture here, you can see a picture of a computer, you can see a picture of a phone here, another phone here, another tab here, another computer here, and then this is the router, and then this is their network, this is their modem here, and they are all connected to the internet. So all these devices are using the same internet provider. So for instance, your school wants to provide internet for all the computers. Your school does not have to start buying internet modem for each of the computer systems. You can just buy a single modem here, and then all these computers, both the phones, the tabs, the laptop, the desktops, can all be connected to the modem, which would now enable all the computer system to connect to the internet using just one device. Now, this happens in banks too. This happens in school organization, in different small organizations, probably a building or two buildings close to each other can use local area network. There's another one called the metropolitan area network. This actually has more wider range. So for instance, a university can use a metropolitan area network. Now, a network system that allows the computers in that geographical area, just that area, to connect. So for instance, let me use a street, for instance. Let's say that the street is the university. So in the street, you have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. You have about 100 houses on that same street. All the houses on that street can share a metropolitan area network. And then there's what we call, now before we talk about the other network, let's talk about the clients and servers. Now in a network system, there's what we call clients and server. Now, just like I showed you the picture of, let me see if I have that on my slide here. Okay, so I don't have that on this slide, but just like I showed you in the picture, just like this particular picture here. Let me look at this picture. So this classroom setting, for instance, the teacher here is the server, and all the children here are the clients. This is how the network system works. So if you are setting up a network system, out of all the systems, one have to be the server. Now, that server is where, if you want to share anything to all the computer system, you put it on the server. It is easier to share from the server to all other of the computer system. Or probably you want to share internet. It is easier to share it from the server to the remaining computers. You can look at this diagram here. This image here is the server here. Now the other computers are the clients. So I hope we understand that. Now, the wide area network, the internet is a good example of the wide area network because this allows this connects both the WANs, the MAN and LAN. It connects all the networks together so that if you are in any part of the world, you are in Lagos, you can communicate with me, you can share files with me. If you are in Abuja, if you are in US, if you are in Australia, you can communicate using the internet. Now, the internet has made life so easy that different people from different parts of the world can communicate. Now, the internet is big because it has made communication very easy. Now, I don't have to say a lot about the internet. I'm sure a lot of you also already know about the internet. And there's what we call the ISP, Internet Service Providers. Internet Service Providers are the organization that allows us access to the internet. And in Nigeria, we have different internet service providers. MTN is one of the network providers. Glo is one of the internet service provider. Etisalat is one of the internet service provider. Visafone is another good example. Swift, Cobranet, and so many of these networks, so many of these companies are called ISPs. They are called ISPs. They provide internet service. That's why we call them internet service providers. Now, it is if you want your computers to be connected to the internet, it's either you have a Glo line, you have an MTN line, or you have an Airtel line, or you have Spectranet, or you have Swift. You can easily buy data and then connect to the internet. And when you buy data and you connect to the internet, it is easy for you to share files and folders with your friends and family in different parts of the world. Now, there's so many things to talk about actually, but I believe that this information that I've actually shared with you about network system has helped you to know that computer systems need to communicate. That is the reasons, that is one of the things that makes, the world global, because one of the reasons for communication in today's world is for communication. That is one of the reasons for computer in today's world. So I believe that in this class, you have learned something tangible and you have learned how the network system works. In the next class, I'm going to be teaching you simple tips on how to use the internet to learn, to do research, and to do other amazing things that the internet is used for. If you enjoyed today's class, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to this channel. See you in our next class. Bye for now.